Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Habitat Update, the podcast about Japan and entrepreneurship related topics based in and focusing on the Kansai area of Japan with the cities Kyoto, Kobe and Osaka and so on, going live every more or less 2 weeks as an audio only podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud, and you can find a video version if you're watching, hello there, on YouTube. This is episode 13. My name is Tugi, and here with me, as always, Sabrina, and today we have a guest. Welcome, designer in residence, Connor. Well, I don't know, I had to make up something, right? Max, no, you're not happy. Should we change that?
Okay, you say, welcome Connor, and then he introduces himself.
Well, yeah, please introduce yourself, Connor.
That's designer residence Connor Kirk. I accept that title.
Good, let's roll with that.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Connor, you've been around in Kyoto, in Japan for a while, and involved a little bit in the startup makers scene, community. What have you been up to? What have you been doing? So, if you mind sharing.
Well, I got into the scene when I started working at Material Kyoto, which is another, if you don't know, it's another makerspace / co-working space in Kyoto that opened about 2 years ago. And I started there when they opened, and they didn't have anyone at the start who knew how to use all the machines. So, and I seemed to be the person most interested in the machines. So I started watching YouTube videos and figured out how to use them, and started teaching other users how to use the machines and kind of planning events around making things with 3D printing and laser cutting and CNC milling, and that's kind of how I got into it. And now, through a long series of events, I am now here at KMG.
The Kyoto Makers Garage,
Yeah.
part of the Makers Bootcamp movement here. But how long, when was that? When did you join Material Kyoto?
That was December 2015.
So 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was that, when did the whole like 3D printing movement a little bit start, or was that was Japan a little bit behind, or how did you experience that being interested in the topic yourself? I'm sure you were like looking up things and other places are way ahead, or I don't know, how was that?
Yeah, actually before I started working there, I was working as a translator at a company called Hatena, and sometimes when I was really bored at work because I finished all my work,
Happens.
Yeah, I would just start researching things, and I think originally I got interested in 3D printers through a YouTube channel called Tested, which is a YouTube channel that was started by Adam Savage, who was the guy from Mythbusters.
Oh yeah.
You know the show Mythbusters?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he used to be on the show Mythbusters, and he also used to work for, he used to do like the prop design, and he would build the things that were in the original Star Wars movies.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
He's a prop maker, and he's also just a maker in general and a total nerd. And so yeah, I started watching his YouTube channel, which is really interesting, and then I was like, oh, I want to try using a 3D printer, or I want to use like some tools, and then it was like, oh, this new Makerspace is opening and they're looking for staff, and I was like, well, all right.
That was basically when they opened, you joined them more or less.
Yeah, so I had no idea how to use any of these machines when I started working there.
Okay, self-taught.
Yeah, and I figured it out in a couple of months. And
you were one of the, I would say, main advisors in selecting the machines for the Makerspace here in Kyoto Makers Garage.
right.
What did you base your decisions on, or your advice on, or what do you usually pay attention to if you select these machines, or why?
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time researching things, reading about things on Reddit and watching YouTube videos, like I said. And there are a lot of really popular 3D printing channels out there.
Yeah.
Joe, the 3D printing nerd. What's the other one? Thomas Salamander. I can't say that guy's name. Sounds like Tom Salamander or something.
Not Thomas the Locomotive.
No.
That one exists too. I watch that one usually.
Send me the link for that. Yeah.
Okay, send me if you have any recommendations, we can post them as well. The Locomotive one, I can send you that one too.
Okay. So I watch these YouTube channels and they do a lot of like reviews of 3D printers and talk in a lot of detail about different 3D printers and materials and stuff. And I've watched pretty much like all of those videos on all those channels, and so a lot of the decision making process of choosing the tools that we have here was based off of experts advice from YouTube, 3D printing YouTube guys. So the machines we have here, there's a Lulzbot Taz 6 and a Prusa i3 MK2S. So these are two of the highest rated and most respected 3D printers in the 3D printing world.
If I want to buy one, get one for home, are those affordable? Are the materials affordable to use them? I don't know. I don't know how much you charge for how you offer it here to use it.
They are. I mean, they're super affordable, and they're getting more and more affordable every year.
So.
Like this, to get a Prusa i3 MK2S, I think it's now $600.
Okay.
So half the price of a MacBook.
Yeah.
Or something. And you get a 3D printer, and you can make all kinds of crazy stuff. Like that's $600 deal. And the materials are cheap too. You can get like a 1 kilogram roll of PLA for $20.
That's what's used to build the stuff.
Right.
The print, the ink.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. the basic ingredient of 3D prints.
Yeah, what I like as you see with the Prusa you mentioned, some parts of it you can technically reprint it yourself. It could be printed on the machine, or was even printed on with using that, right?
Yeah.
Technically.
They actually, so Prusa's a company in Prague.
Okay.
Their headquarters are in Prague, and they have just basically a giant room filled with printers that are printing new printers.
Okay.
So they manufacture all of the parts. I mean, there are metal parts. There are a lot of metal parts on there too, but there are a lot of 3D printed parts that they manufacture all in-house. And the great thing about this printer and that printer also is that it's completely open source. So all of the 3D printed parts on the machine can be downloaded for free from their website. It's actually it's this big zip folder, so you download it and it's one folder that contains all of the parts for the whole machine.
But it's amazing. That's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, and same for this too. You can download all the 3D printed parts from the Taz 6. So if something breaks, or if something melts, or if you just want to change the color of something, you can print out a new one and replace it. So
not only do they kind of sell the product by saying they produce it themselves on the same machine, so it's a quite good case. And then you have all these customizations, which is cool. And then I'm sure the community out there regarding open source, there are a lot of reference parts or models and projects up there for inspiration. Or I'm always thinking I want to buy one of these machines, but what can I do with it? I guess until you try, you don't know, or you just have to get into it. Or how was it for you? You just started doing stuff, or anything useful, or just getting inspiration by others? Or
I think if you haven't used a 3D printer before, it's probably difficult to think of ideas. What would I actually use it for? But once you sort of have that as a tool in your mind of the things that your repertoire, I guess is the word, maybe. Things started coming to you. Like just the other day, my wife and I were walking with our baby daughter with our stroller, and I had a bottle of water, and I was thinking, oh, it'd be really great if there was like a cup holder on the side of the handlebar of the stroller. And I was like, well, yeah, I'll 3D print something for it.
Okay.
Next time I go to work, I'll just, model something in Fusion 360 and print it out, snap it on the stroller, and now we've got a cup holder. So things like that, just like little practical, everyday use type things. It's really convenient to have access to.
It's cool. I can imagine, like you just things happen in your household, and you're like, oh, geez, I wish I had, as you said, like some cup holder or something like this. Oh, let's print it, and pimp my stroller.
I have one question from considering like the makers movement and how do-it-yourself machines are now accessible to a broader audience for a lower cost. How would you consider compare the makers movement in Japan comparing to other places like America where you're from, in terms of how accessible and how much space average makers have in their own houses to have a small place to do their own things?
Sure, that's an issue here.
Yeah, I mean, just strictly speaking about space, people in Japan don't really have much extra space in their apartments, in their homes. Houses are tiny here, and apartments are even tinier. We know this. But I mean, a tiny little printer like that, like a Prusa i3, it's not big.
I mean, you see, like, so for everyone watching it, it's a bit, just to put it in perspective, I guess you see it on the camera. Can you move your head? So that's me, right? That's standing next to me. That's a small one. We can do pretty much everything. So now everyone, you have a reason to watch the video.
Yeah, pick it up. You can grab it right there.
You can actually grab it. Here?
Yeah, by the metal bar there. Yeah. It's not heavy.
It's not that heavy. You don't have to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I should start like a sales channel or something like this.
Yeah.
It's not heavy at all. Like, you can customize it. It is handled. It's cool. Yeah, it is actually not that big. It's some people buy coffee machines, others buy 3D printers.
It's not big. It's not heavy. Even if you live in a tiny little Japanese apartment, you can still easily put one of these guys in your apartment, and it doesn't make a lot of noise either. You won't be disturbing your neighbors. You won't have your neighbors knocking on your door and telling you to shut up. It's quiet.
Cool.
And it doesn't, if you're printing with like PLA or, something like that, it's not going to create any smell either, really. It's not going to make any fumes or smell. So totally usable for even like using at home in a Japanese apartment.
We're considering people who can afford to have more than 40 square meters apartments in Japan, right? Just to say average in Japan is 20 square meters.
Yeah.
Furniture.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'll say for students, as I spoke to most of the users who are interested to use 3D printing and come to our space, I'll say the younger you are, the less
Right.
chances are that you have both space and money to afford to buy machines here in Japan.
Right, yeah. The students, we get a lot of students who come here to use the 3D printers and the laser cutter. And I definitely don't think that they would buy one of these for themselves. You know? It's much more convenient for them just to come here and use it.
Well, that's good. That's why we have these spaces, right? The makerspaces around the world.
Yeah, and a lot of makerspaces have, like $100,000 machines and like really expensive machines, and I don't think that should be a requirement of makerspace. The machines don't have to be expensive. These aren't expensive machines. The CNC machine and the laser cutter are expensive, but I don't really see that as a necessity of makerspaces.
Maybe one thing, how do you see, so you said you have students joining here, do you see the, I don't know how much experience you have, or from just hearing from others, the education here, people, do they get the inputs to try out these things, or do they know, or how do they learn about these places? Do people find the space? Why do they come here, or does it take them really to go to kind of like a design school to come then, or what are the backgrounds of the people?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that so far the students we're seeing here are either design or engineering students. I've noticed many business students who are interested to, as Connor mentioned, get a basic understanding of the capabilities of those machines to understand what they could do to solve their own daily problems. So many want to do something, but they have this concept or idea that they would need something some really high skill engineer or maker skill to do anything in a makerspace. So I think that's like a little bit of like two targets. The first one, engineers and designers, they pretty much know what they want or what they can do. So they come here just to use the machine with usually a small project or their own purpose. The students who are still business students, they are a little bit, I would say, shy. They feel like they don't want to come here without any knowledge and, learn from zero, which is totally acceptable. Even Connor said two years ago, that's when you start learning, right? So I think more people should try at least to see what they can do.
Yeah, I think it's just the idea, the barrier is high. Even me, like you think, oh, not only learning the machine, but you have to use the software, and I don't know, and I guess most software basic are free available or come with the machine, I don't know.
The software?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all free. But, I mean, everything except for Adobe Illustrator, all of the software you need to do these is free.
Okay. So for the designs you can do on these machines, you have the open source. Like even I think sometimes like Google has even a 3D browser based modeling.
They do?
I think so.
Cool.
They're everywhere these days.
Yeah.
But that's cool. And how do you try to bring more people here? Like one of the efforts is right after we record this, Connor's gonna have a 3D printing meetup. This is one effort. Like you just make meetups just to teach and talk and exchange with people. Or how else could you think to bring?
Yeah, I mean the 3D printing meetup. We've only done it 3 times, two,
3 times.
Okay, so
The
today's
last time
gonna
was
be
3 or 4. No.
No, that was the third time.
Yeah, today's gonna be our 3rd meeting.
Okay.
We started in December last year, and it's just a small group of nerds like me, and we sit around and drink beer and eat snacks and talk about 3D printing.
Sounds like fun. Good for me.
It is really fun. I also really enjoy sharing like some 3D modeling tips. I use Fusion 360 mostly for 3D modeling, and it's kind of fun to talk about like 3D modeling for 3D printing, because you really have to think differently about how you're modeling when you're making something that is going to be 3D printed.
True, the machines have limitations, or is it just the parts, or it's different.
You sort of have to work around the limitations of the machine to get what you want. So we just kind of sit around and talk about stuff like that. Sometimes people bring things that they printed to talk about.
That's cool. That would be interesting. Like have a 3D printing meetup or 3D printing showcase event. At some point, people come and bring it to show what they do, like anyone. Yeah,
there's definitely a show and tell element to it, There's one guy today, I think he's actually going to bring his printer with him.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it's some like Chinese printer that he got, and we'll see if he brings it or not. But
Okay, well, that's pretty much already a great introduction. I would say thank you very much, Connor. Anything from your side to add now?
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Everyone should come. It would be cool. You're here basically every day.
I'm here every day.
Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday.
From 1 p.m.?
From 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. or 9 p.m.
Occasional toilet breaks?
Yeah. Sometimes I go to the bathroom.
And coffee breaks?
Sometimes I drink coffee.
Is it announced somewhere online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a website.
I wanna see like short notice. I want to. No, but yeah, like to listeners, to the viewers out there, like if you ever end up in Kyoto, want to check out the space, or you have questions, or designer in residence here.
Yeah, come by. Don't be scared. I speak Japanese too, so
He speaks Japanese too.
If you don't speak English, it's okay.
Not sure if they listen then.
Probably not.
But anyway, you never
But
know.
that's a good to
Maybe
know,
they, yeah.
That's great. Well, I hope to see you maybe more often than later in the show. But
Yeah, I just want to say that this weekend we are going to have our first Arduino crash course. So we'll have a professional industrial designer and hardcore maker showing a little bit of his like hobby. That's pretty much what Benjamin does during his free time. He's a French industrial designer based in Kyoto, working for our prototype makers, our network, the ones that actually help startups to build their products. But this time he will come as our community member and bring a little bit of his hobby here and
expertise.
Yeah, but actually more than expertise, because as Connor mentioned, as an industrial designer, things you use to 3D print those machines might be different for the ones when you're printing something more industrial level, right?
Okay.
So I think that would be interesting for any of you that might be available. Sunday the 11th from 1:30 p.m. You just have to go meetup page.
I share the links. That's a good jump right into our section where we talk about the. I leave out since we had an extensive discussion here before. I leave out our experience with previous meetups we've been to in the recent weeks. We can do that next time. Tune in. But about upcoming meetups and events, we think it's interesting. One of them, I have it here on my cheat sheet, the Arduino course here, a workshop on Sunday, February 11th. The next one, we have one more thing for makers, the monthly Osaka Makers Meetup. It's obviously in Osaka, February 14th on Valentine's Day. What else is out there to do? It's a Wednesday. Next thing, next week, Friday, February 16th, we have next episode of Habitat Friday. Not episode, it's just a meetup event. The second meetup event in the series we hope to have every month. It's in Osaka, in Umeda. Very conversation based, discussion based. I might say a little something about storytelling. We've been to some workshops before. I've been to some workshops before and want to share that with everyone who will join. Then just to mention something interesting, February 17th is a Saturday. Then we have Pechakucha night in Osaka as well as in Kyoto, independent events. But Pechakucha, for everyone who doesn't know, 20 slides, 20 seconds each, invented by architects to keep presentations short and creative. Check it out, it's really cool. And then February 23rd, Friday, Hacker News Kansai has a next meetup in Osaka. A bunch of cool people joining, just hanging, talking. February 24th, Saturday, Osaka Web Designers and Developers Meetup, the first for them in this year. And maybe one more thing to mention, well, as always, end of this month, 27th of February, we have the Hack Osaka event, free for everyone to join. Don't miss that one. The networking event costs 4,000 yen if you're interested. And the next day, then the Get in the Ring 2018 Osaka.
Yeah, and during Hack Osaka, there will be also another hardware competition. It's called Monozukuri Hardware Cup. And the 3 finalists from Japan will get the chance to travel to Pittsburgh and compete with the international startups.
Wow, okay, great. Well, with that, I'm pretty much in the end what I wanted to share. One more thing we mentioned. Did you watch the new Star Wars?
I didn't see it yet.
No, but you're a fan.
I am. I really want to see it.
Okay.
But the problem is I have a 3-month-old baby and my wife also wants to see it. So we want to go together, but we have a baby, so we need a babysitter or something.
I'm a candidate.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys live pretty right down the street too. So
technically. No, but yeah, okay, because you mentioned he was the prop maker for Star Wars. It was kind of like it was in my head now thinking about, because it's a very controversial new movie. Some people are not so happy with it. I don't know how much you heard.
Don't
of it. No spoilers, no spoilers.
I am a fan. I'm not like a hardcore fan.
No, me neither. So I was pretty okay with it. But that's
If
a bit
there's
off.
like lasers and lightsabers and flying around in ships, then I'm happy.
Ah, that's it. Yeah, you're gonna like it.
Okay, cool.
And
Great.
robots.
And robots.
And
yeah.
robots, there's robots, good.
People, people. Yeah.
Cool.
Great. Well, with that, thank you very much, Connor, for joining us, for all your input. As I mentioned before, if anyone has any questions regarding 3D printing or the space here, just show up or then write to Makersboot.camp, either on their webpage or through maybe through their Twitter account at makersboot.camp. It's the same place where you can reach Sabrina, and me you can reach over the GVH Osaka webpage, or then on Twitter as at GwenST. I'll put all the information in the descriptions of the video or blend it in the video, like somewhere here. I don't know. It's difficult to navigate here because it's like inverse, like, you know,
Right here.
like left, right?
Someone had too much coffee.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, okay. With that, thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Let us know what you think of it. Send us an email if you have any events, any questions, any thoughts we should discuss here to HabitatUpdate@gmail.com. We're happy for everything, anything. This has been episode 13 of Habitat Update, the podcast about Japan and entrepreneurship based in and focusing on the Kansai area, going live every 2 weeks, more or less. Thank you very much.